Here we go. Finally, after all these technical difficulties, we will record this conversation about soul awakening, about the path of the soul, and very happy to welcome you here with Anthony.
Hello, everyone. Namaste.
What do you want to say?
Yeah, so today we're going to introduce for the first time, and by the way, because of difficulties with, we have one person joining. Because of the difficulty of Katya being in Russia,
Instagram.
and she cannot be on the live stream in Instagram. So I'm live streaming on Instagram, and then she is going to be on the Zoom so that people can also join the Zoom if they click on the link that I'll use on the Instagram. So this is the 2025. This is where we are in the world. Yeah,
Yeah.
times we're living in. But this is more reason to find ways.
Change the timeline.
Yes, to find new ways to live in harmony and to find what is the truth, what is harmony, and what is nature.
Thank you. Yeah, the technical difficulties will not stop us. So anyway, we will record so people can watch later on and their just the recording also if they will feel call for this. And the message and the topic of today's live stream or this conversation is the path of the soul awakening. As you know, this is the name of our the title for our retreat we're going to make. But also I felt a call to just speak about what is the path of the soul and to share from our experience and wisdom what is it and how to walk it, what are the challenges that we have and what is the difference between path of the soul and path of the mind, and especially nowadays as the collective, the frequency and the earth and everything is changing so much. So we have to align if we to our soul, and we have to align with what's going on so we can really live the best life of what we can. I gave word to you.
Yes, I'm managing 2 live streams at once. So yeah, thank you for the introduction, Katya, my beloved. And yeah, we're super excited about Soul Awakening Retreat this September. It's happening. It's a amalgamation of our combined years of our journey, our practices, our devotion to the path, and to inspire people to know it's possible. It's possible to live your highest timeline. It's possible to walk your dream reality. It's not as fairy tale as you might have thought. In fact, most of the time these kind of journeys you hear being portrayed are in movies and these kind of things. But what we're offering, what we're sharing is for people to live this in their life, which is a very rare gift to be incarnated firstly as a human being. This is one of the highest expressions, if not the highest expression of consciousness in this reality. And so we're very excited to honor that. We want to honor that, what it means to be human.
When you speak, I feel immediately like I want to cry because it's just touched my soul, and I have flashbacks and memories of what it took me to really connect with my soul. By the way, when you live streaming, people can hear me on your site and Instagram or not?
Well, there's people coming and going, so we have one viewer, my good old friend Benedict. Uh, nice to see. We have one of my old friends here.
Okay,
You
but
can,
they can hear me or not?
I'm sure
Because
they
you're in
can.
headphones, so I don't know.
Ah, yes, that's a good point. That's a good point. Okay.
Yes, okay. So, thank you for sharing. I would just say again, and that it makes me really vulnerable and makes me want to cry when you shared about this because it gave a flashbacks of what it took for me to reconnect fully with the soul and to um, start to leave this timeline that holds all the keys of my soul and happiness and what my soul wanted to do. And yeah, as you said, it's not fairy tale, even if it might seem like this. And it's in a way, it's like a hero journey. And like the quote that we see in fairy tales, in fact, the same. When we connect with our soul, we go on the same kind of hero journey. And the good thing is that we can there is a system, in fact, in this. There is a, even if it look like something that everybody path is unique, but there is still like a code for this, or like a steps. And we can also talk about this. And in my journey, through my journey, I created a system, creator codes, that in fact we will give on the retreats, on the retreat, that will help for this. And but first, maybe did you want to introduce ourselves?
Yes, let's do
Okay.
that. So yeah, we are so anxiously anticipating our retreat, so we need to share all the gifts of this retreat already with you now. It's definitely we definitely also love to share about ourselves and who we are. So, who would like to begin?
You.
Me.
You
Yes,
the Shiva, you the first.
yes, yes, yes. Ah, I have my friend Thomas. If you want Thomas, you can join the our link I send you. I'm not sure even if you can copy links in Instagram, but well, see if we can we okay. Any case, yeah, so who am I? I'm Anthony. At least that's my name in this life. And originally, yeah, I've grown up most of my life in Europe, and yeah, born in London, moved to Paris, and then grew up in Switzerland. That's where I'm currently actually now returned after 1 year of exploration in Asia, which was nothing short of a life-changing experience. And that's why also we're very inspired to do this retreat, because we're going to be sharing some of this journey that we've had in Nepal. First, to begin with. And yeah, about my work, what am I doing? So I'm a yoga teacher and Ayurveda therapist. That's my formal background. However, I'm also trained and studied in philosophy for 4 years at higher education. So I also weave in a lot of the various teachings that come across wisdom traditions. They're not just limited to yoga and Ayurveda. I've also been 3 years following a tantric path, classical tantra, under the guidance of living masters of the tantric tradition. So I already have some introduction to tantra, to classical tantra, um, which is as well in Tibet and in Nepal. They also have a very strong living presence of tantra, and that's also another tangent that we will share about later on. What is tantra, and demystifying this, because I think it's very important in this day and age to know what is real tantra and what is not. This is been very much confused with a lot of people. Um, but yeah, so that's a little introduction to me. Hand it over to my partner, my beloved Katya.
Um, Hello, my name is Katya, or somebody knows me as Ima. Was my spiritual name. And but recently I came back to the origin that my parents gave me, Katya or Ekaterina, but Katya is a short version. And in fact, I was born in Kazakhstan, but I moved to Russia when I was 2 years old. And in 2019, I moved to Bali. In fact, I've been traveling before also, and for a couple of years living in India, or also traveling to Bali, not really spending time in the cold winter. My spiritual path started 10 years ago. So the moment it started, I would say it started to change the life completely. And of course, I couldn't be anymore where my spirit or my soul didn't feel aligned. So I moved to Bali without plan that I will move and like just stay for 5 years, but it's how it ended. I stayed 5.5 years, and still I feel that this is my home. For example, now when we left, there's a lot of things there in storage, and it's still a home that where my heart belongs really. And I've recently I'm Jinkies master. I'm helping people to activate their potential through Jinkies, also through energy practices, healing, subconsciousness reprogramming. Also through these years of experiencing, I've created a system. In fact, I've created it while I was in Bali, the system called Creator Codes. And this is like a 10-step program that help anybody to, first of all, rise their frequency and their consciousness to creator consciousness, to the mind of creator, to understand the step of creation, not just like manifestation when you just visualize something and then like it comes to you, but in fact I explain how really it works, and then also help you to create your best timeline, because through these years I developed a lot of high abilities by working with my teachers. In fact, my one of my first teachers, and the one who remained, because I have different teachers through years, but then at some point I left because I didn't feel aligned anymore. But there is one who remained, and in fact she's a woman, and she's also has a deep connection with Dzogchen, and that's what my soul really belongs to. And through that, I learned a lot of also practices to reprogram your subconsciousness, to work with your mind, to work with your emotions, the clairvoyance, and abilities to read the energy, to help people. I work with people for, I don't know, 9 years maybe already, and that's became just a dharma path, and something that's very natural and familiar to me. And the Creator Codes is one of the systems I've channeled, and then I tried it out, because whenever I create something, I always then tested it on people first. I invite first people, like a group, to test it, and yes, and then I see how it works, what needs to be changed, and then after that, it became something that I offer to others. So this is what happened. Yes, so this I finished about me, and this is what I'm gonna give on the retreat also, one of the main things I will give.
Thank you for sharing. So now you have a formal introduction to us as individuals. It's safe to say that we definitely haven't shared the everything about our path, and we're two individuals who are following our paths would love to share that more when in person in our retreat. So that's one thing that is to unfold, is that these teachings are more, and this is often what you'll find is like anything in life, when you begin a practice, for example, or you start a sport, you don't fully understand and have a mastery over the sport unless you are a prodigy and gifted individual. But even then, it's almost impossible to fully understand something unless you experience it. And so, with what we're sharing and about our backgrounds, we are very much going to share more about that in person and through the experiential elements, because we can discuss things, we can talk about things, but only through direct experience, only through connecting to us in a very open and authentic way, then can we fully grasp and receive the teachings. So that's something to note, is that we are sharing about ourselves as individuals, but at the same time, what we are here to share is much more than just us as individual.
Yes. And do we want to share about then the path of the soul?
So about the path of the soul, well, it's interesting. If we speak about the soul, we're speaking more about from the top down in a way. And this I would like to also share with people. I'll maybe um, we'll decide who will open this, but that our style of teaching is very top down. We're here more to give a real direct transmission. We're not here to, and this is one of our two gifts and qualities of myself and Katya, is we share things in a very direct and we share things in a very open way. And it can seem almost, and this is a quality of teachers who are naturally have this ability to share some of the higher teachings and wisdoms. We naturally will share this kind of quality of knowledge and and not really kind of leave people too much in the um, stuck in scientific or materialistic kind of studies which have already been done so much. What we're going to share is going to be more of the higher levels of teachings. For example, if you look at, and we're not limited to any tradition as we mentioned before, what we are doing is actually,
Now we studied a lot of traditions.
although
That's why we're not limited.
we studied Buddhism, and when I say we've studied, we've
Not from the books.
we've done both experientially, physically visiting and receiving teachings from higher teachers or masters, and also, well, for myself, especially as you can imagine, also studying the literature. So we have quite versatility, and yeah, so that's just a disclaimer that this sharings and teachings as the great teacher, psychonaut Terence McKenna once said, in a way, you must suspend your disbelief. You must come to a stage of suspension. And how, you might ask, one can do this, because if there's a feeling of kind of confusion or avoidance or uncertainty, then it can often obstruct your ability to receive something. And this is actually what is the path of awakening. But what I advise in these moments is, yeah, to try and find more stillness. When we find more stillness, for example, in meditation, we can receive higher teachings
Are
because
you sharing the jinky of the week or what?
well, that's true, yes. Well, who knows if today we will get to gene keys, but uh, it's something that you can observe and notice is when you're in agitation, when you're in overexcitement, or what we call the rajas in yoga philosophy, is it can often obstruct our field of awareness. We don't receive as much from our awareness. We become very like finite and limited. So here is an opportunity, yeah, to expand and hold more openness and awareness and presence. So
um,
would you like to start with some of the sharings? What do you feel is the soul?
I feel I want to say something into addition to what you said also, that the one of the way also how I teach and what I've been also experiencing and learned, let's say learning in my life is work with the quantum field. And I want to say a little bit about this because nowadays a lot of people use this term, like use this word and without, I would say, fully understanding, or just because it's like something interesting and mystical. But in fact, that in my life, I had the experience and a teacher who was guiding to this quantum field. And when I say quantum, what do I mean? Is that when you rise, let's say the frequency of your mind, when your consciousness is going higher and you are entering a field of enormous possibilities, a field where your mind operates differently. And in fact, let's say we always hear, but our consciousness, normally the consciousness of human being is lower. Let's say it's more focused on lower bodies like physical, emotional, and mental. And the awareness is not really grasping the higher bodies and what we can say the higher realities. And what I do, I guide people also there. And it might seem like mystical, but in fact, when I work with people who also a lot of from Western world, and like for example, I had a client, we finished work with her in several months ago, and she even if she had like very normal background and didn't really have a lot of time in meditation or spiritual path, but she was able to really understand, and not only understand but embody and implement all the teachings in her life. And she's still doing this. She just messaged me yesterday again saying gratitude and how it's changed her life, for example, and how she was able to really understand and embody what's in the beginning maybe felt like a lot, but the more she expanded and the more time kind of, because it's transmission, what you shared, when we transmit, we're not like we not give information, we help to change the structure, the consciousness, and then it became like a new normal. So, and then you operate in a different way, like upgrade of your, like when iPhone, like when have upgrade of the system. So it's like you leave from upgraded system. That means the way how you think, the way how you interact with life, the way how you create your life is completely different. And this is one of the things that I do and I teach, and I will share later more about this. But this is first what I wanted to say, that my soul is always was interesting how how I can find faster ways. That's why first I studied Jinkies. So how you can change outer reality by changing yourself and within, by changing your frequency, by changing your state, and then see how the world reflects different to you with and kind of that you are a reason of everything, and that the reality is a reflection of you. So if you want to change something outside, you need first to align yourself and change your frequency, so then the new world, like the new reality, will appear in front of you, and it will be different than you do a lot of actions without staying in the same consciousness. Yes.
Yeah. That's it. So yeah, I think there's so many different ways that we can approach the meaning of the soul. Why did we, for example, even use this term soul? You know, why couldn't we use something else in terms of semantics? But yeah, we have to be totally and fairly upfront that yeah, this is the soul is it's timeless. It always will, no matter what way what words we're using and we'd like to share about it, it's something that's ever present in the life. Even if we are talking about the soul metaphorically, which some people do, um, they are a lot of the time pointing towards their actual essence. And this is the point here, is we're trying to reach beyond these, as Katya has shared, these certain frequencies that are not wrong. Like, let's understand that everything in this creation is an energy, and whether you're in whatever emotion or whatever thoughts you're generating, and only thoughts always come with a certain level of emotion. There's an emotional imprint with the thought.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever the thought is, it's always going to be on a certain frequency, which is why, you know, we should always be so mindful about what it is we're sharing and why it is we're sharing. The why is more nuance. It's more about actually doing self-observation and doing inner work. But with all of that to one side, the soul is, from the level of quantum mechanics, is just operating at a much higher frequency than what we tend to, in this current epoch, in this current paradigm, mostly epoch actually. And when I mean epoch, I actually mean several thousands of years, because um, if you believe that this consciousness, or this frequency, which is consciousness, is operating and is just pure awareness, even if you go all the way back to the beginning of the universe, for example, it still means that this awareness has been going on for a long, long time, even if you just see it from the linear point of view. So there has been different periods of time when there has been consciousness at different frequencies have dominated. And if we look at from the Vedic point of view, and I like to use the Vedas. As I said, Vedas, my friend from India has joined. Pranams.
Found the right frequency, yeah? Like, oh,
Pranams.
this is me.
Yes. So we were just talking about Vedas and we're just introducing the Vedic lens, and that there is four epochs, there's four types of pranams, there's four different kinds of subject. There's different yugas, what they're called ages in Sanskrit. Hare Krishna. And yeah, we start at Golden Age, Satya. Then we go to Treta Yuga, which is the second quarter. Then the third quarter of existence is called Dwarpa. And then our current cosmological age, or yeah, cosmological age is the Kali Yuga, which is what we call the age of the dark or age of darkness. Now, you can take what you will from that, what it means. Everyone can have a different understanding of what that is, but it's safe to say it's characterized by the least amount of awareness and consciousness in the whole world. So the consciousness is at a much lower vibration in this cosmological age. And this was also, if you take the Western astrology, it's characterized by the age of Pisces, which, if we look at Pisces, it's the last sign in the astrological chart. So it's also characterized by the end, the final view of the world before we move into the next age. So it's known in these systems and in this, and to be clear that these systems are these are wisdom traditions. So these come from people who have had direct experience and who've had their own awakenings, that the consciousness is lower. And so the vibration, if we talk about from the frequency level, is lower. And so it can be much harder to understand in this current age what is the soul. You have two options. One is you believe blind faith in the scriptures. If you believe in, for example, we have the religions. So there are people who have faith. And then there are people who don't believe in just faith and want to have direct experience. And for those individuals, it can be very difficult to elevate and to ascend because on the frequency scale, because we're in an age which is much darker. It's said actually that 75% of reality is actually an illusion. 75%. So only one quarter of what you're seeing is actually truth. And this might even be less right now. We don't
I think it's even less.
It's probably even less. Maybe I'm being generous, but it's this is the kind of mindset one needs before fully imbibing and receiving the teachings, because these teachings are operating at such a high frequency that if we don't already have this purview of the world, then it's going to be very difficult um, to be able to tell a difference between what is low and high frequency.
And I feel I want to join you, continue,
Yes.
and add perspective from feminine way.
Yes, I'm trying to bring a more rational and approach.
Yeah, yeah.
But let's hear also from the divine feminine.
Well, what I would say the soul is the essence of you. The soul is what incarnates, is what heaven experiences, and eventually even the soul merges back with source. Like, let's say we have spirit, we have a soul, and spirit is something that is immortal. Spirit is something that is it's like this fire of life, this sparkle of life force in you. The soul is the one that incarnates. The soul is the one that has some, let's say, plan for this incarnation, like what soul want to experience. And we can live from different levels, let's say, of how we perceive the reality in ourselves. We can live from personality. When I said lower bodies, like physical, emotional, and mental, that's more what makes our personality. We can live from personality or personalities, because sometimes we change our personalities during the life, and like different costumes, we have new qualities. Our lives sometimes go through crises, and we have to change and develop a new identity in a way. Then if we go even from the subtle body perspective, when we go to causal body, it's a body of the soul. And basically the soul is the one that incarnates. The soul, the one that holds energy or memory. And if we go to Buddhist tradition, they call it samskaras. So the certain tendencies that will appear later, that and will also affect the future further incarnation. And I could say, even from my experience, because it was years ago when I had some plant medicine experience, and at the time it was shown to me how it works, and what is Bordeaux, and this mystical, let's say, realms. And it's also changed my life completely after I kind of visited and experienced this. And that, yeah, the time I realized that all the work I do, in fact, in this lifetime, is just preparing me for the moment of death, in a way, because I need to really be stabilized in the light, and in a love, so that then when I go through transition, my samskaras on my mind will not fluctuate, because like it had some unresolved, for example, karma, unresolved emotions, or something that will create a next incarnation. Let's say, for example, I had a bad breakup with somebody. Let's bring it more down to earth. Let's say I had a really bad breakup with somebody, and it was a lot of resentment, anger, like frustration that kept in my system, and I, for example, didn't process it, and it's created a tension and conflict between the people, and then between like the souls, and then this will affect, that will make me incarnate again, so finally I can resolve it, and in the next life I can be free from it, or I can resolve it in this moment, and I cannot keep the negative emotions, I cannot keep the tension. That's also what we say, to live in awareness, that to be mindful what I'm feeling, and kind of to clearing, freeing myself from everything that can bring me down, in a way. And yeah, so when we say the soul, it's more that this vast consciousness that is not limited, in fact, by the fears of personality or mind structures of personality, because sometimes the preferences or tendencies of our mind, of our personality, can limit what our soul wants to experience. Because soul, it wants experience and it wants new. Is the soul, it needs experience, doesn't matter if it's like bad or good, in a way, what how our mind can think about the reality, or like this is good, this is bad, because the soul, it wants kind of to learn to experience itself, to be in different roles. Sometimes the soul can be play a role of like bad person, or sometimes a good person. Like the soul doesn't kind of think in that categories. That means like when we leave the path of our soul, we leave what's here for our dharma, for our path, and for what our soul decided to learn, to experience, to develop. And also it will be new. Let's say, for example, for my soul, it was always also very, I didn't have that much incarnations on the earth, for example. That's why being like my soul were more always like kind of cosmic energies. That's why being here, I had to learn some how to be human. That for me was very hard because I'm much better to destroy everything, cut all the illusions, and like go than like, for example, uh, take care of a house. Like something that's very simple for other people was very hard for me. And that means that we all different. We're all here to learn what our soul want to learn and experience, and we need to also understand what our qualities, what our talents, and how we can, let's say, use them in these current conditions, in these current situations. What are we can do from our talents, from our gifts in that exact moment, and how from that gifts we can like serve the world, and what is the best way to use them. Is what I wanted to share.
Yes, and yeah, I think that's one of the gifts of Katya, my beloved partner, is she has the ability to connect people to themselves very strongly. I believe in a unique way, in a very unique way. Um, and of course, that's coupled with the things that she will be sharing, which is, for example, gene keys and the creator codes, and also more embodiment practices. So these are just channels for Katya to bring in this yeah, what can't really be what can't really actually happen unless an individual has had already the direct experiences themselves. So, you know, there is something to say about how long you've studied something, or what you've like how long you've learned something, because it's not saying that you need to, for example, to share knowledge or wisdom, that you need to have had all of those years of experience, because it's possible that maybe you have received already direct experience of the wisdom itself um, in your first year of study or something. But over that time, normally normal individuals accumulate wisdom over like 7 years, or it can be 7 to 12 years. That's normally around the time where someone becomes very strong in true knowledge.
I think it's maybe integration, like you can receive transmission, but then also how you integrate it and how you really embody this will take more time.
Yeah, exactly. As well, there's as well integration period of time. So actually, most of the if we take a traditional teaching, most of the wisdom was in the first few moments, but then to try and integrate, yes, and experience that yourself, it takes to stabilize it takes a while.
Yes.
And yeah, I sort of lost my train of thought, but um, all of yeah, essentially what Ima, I want to call you Ima for some reason.
Okay, if you
Ima,
feel
it's
if you're
Ima is coming out. Ima is the Hebrew word for light, and it was also Jesus's the name of Jesus' mother. So
you
I
want me to be your mother?
know, but if we think about who is Mary, Mary is the divine mother. She's the mother of
Yes.
everything. So Ima is the word that's coming through. for some reason, and always in this path, we're always using spontaneity. We never are fixed. This one important thing. And it's one of the biggest, I believe, hurdles of humanity is to make transformation, you have to enjoy letting go and enjoy transformation and change. If and unfortunately for the human mind is we're especially nowadays so comfortable with um like the mind just likes something that's very easy and doesn't change because it means it can use the same neural pathways to to achieve something. It uses the same, and that means that it doesn't have to build new web networks. But in a way, part of being on the path is also being totally open to change, and receiving higher teachings also requires us to have, like I said earlier on, the a kind of disbelief in first of all what we're seeing, and then open-mindedness to receive the teachings, open-mindedness to receive what is happening in this moment.
And that's okay, you finish.
Yeah, and that's also what, you know, actually it is the aim of yoga, right? There's a irony in yoga is that the actual word yoga means it comes from the root Sanskrit word yuj, meaning union. And yoga actually can happen in any moment. It's those moments of where we're absolutely connected, where the mind and the body now connects with consciousness, then we're in union, we're in yoga. So all of those efforts, all of the practices we do, all of the sadhana repetitions, they're actually just trying to achieve those moments of union. If we actually follow the um, authentic way to practice yoga, it would be um, there's no actually way to practice yoga. We're practicing asana, pranayama, meditation, and also we're practicing like restraint. So we're learning how to control our thoughts and emotions, and then we achieve those moments of pure bliss that was yoga. So um, I think we've given a nice introduction now to like some of the elements of what is the soul path. And
And something I wanted to add, in fact, because when you've been sharing,
maybe one
I
last
felt
thing, Katya,
okay.
about what is kind of it means to be in the soul path and connect with your your soul.
Just something that you also mentioned that about letting go. That yeah, when we're on a soul path, we, in a way, will learn from the point of our personality to be observer of everything. Because being on a soul path means to accept and let go. Because, as I said, the soul, it it comes for experience, and when some experience finished, when the soul develops something and learned, it's okay, it's enough. Then we go further, we go to next experience, like, or um, developing new qualities. And when we really live from a soul, we follow this inner call. Even it's sometimes it can be challenging for our mind, for personality, because the mind, like personality or ego, it wants to find one path that is familiar and follow it till the end of the life because it thinks that what the safety is. But in fact, when we more move to higher dimension, we see that the safety comes from feeling safe in your body and safe in being yourself, because this is how you really follow the path of your heart. And this means that you let go when it's time to let go, and then and then you accept what is new, because you always in tune to what your soul wants to experience in this exact moment. That means you, in a way, becomes free, because you're not limiting yourself with for example, experience you created, but you move in the present moment. And from being in the present moment and feeling what's essential for you in this time, then you start to live as a free being, because uh, you won't let the fears of your mind stop you. If your soul is telling you something, you develop this ability to feel this like inner fire within that will guide you. And if you need to jump, you will jump, even if it seems scary for your mind. But in fact, and we both knew, because we both did it in our lives, when you jump, and like that's what I could quantum leap, and it seems like, what's going on, why you do this, and your mind is like screaming, because it seems this is so stupid and ridiculous. I'm killing myself, but you know that your soul is calling you and moving you towards this direction. And then when you really did this, and you see after, oh my god, that was the best decision, because like you see first of all that fear is illusions, and that you in fact when you let go of something that doesn't serve you anymore, you just create more space to embody more who you are, and to invite more of energy of your soul to really embody in your system. And then what opens for you is like, you go into a new version of yourself that you've never experienced before. And so of course you can't know what is it, but then when you become in it, and you're like, oh my god, this is so amazing. Like, I'm so grateful I made this jump. What seems so terrible or like hard before, now I see it was the best decision. So yeah, then you feel you become free, like you open your wings and you don't afraid in a way to fly, because when your soul is calling you, it has a wisdom that you just don't realize yet.
Mm. Yes, thank you for sharing. It's important to trust in the wisdom. And I would say lastly there's those moments, even if you just get a little trace. I always found that just like a lotus flower or any flower, it always starts as a seed. It always starts this small and then it grows into this big. Or if we talk about a tree, look how big a tree can grow from a tiny seed that's put in the ground. So we can get these little anecdotes of wisdom that can touch the core of us. And then through that connection to our hearts, we then can have a series of growth and evolution and get more get more comfortable on the path and towards self-development and self-growth. So it always starts from a humble place. There are, of course, some people who also receive breakthroughs, what we call breakthroughs. Katya and I, we've both had our fair share of breakthroughs. But also there's those moments where you don't receive breakthroughs all the time. I mean, these days it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard as when you're more devoted, the more you get devoted onto the path, the more actually these breakthroughs happen. And I love this word, suspending the disbelief, because it's through that suspension that you're telling yourself and thereby telling the universe that you're open to allowing infinite possibilities to happen. So and then what happens is, bit by bit, the what you receive becomes more acquainted with the source, becomes more acquainted with your truth, with your path.
and and I forget. Okay, it doesn't matter.
So yeah, we have shared, I believe, quite a bit about ourselves and about, yeah, like kind of what's the journey. I feel we're almost approaching 1 hour, so um, I'm not sure if we want today to jump already into the retreat itself, because that's um, that's a whole other topic. So
We can just share a little bit, and also just something. Yeah, I remembered what I wanted to say. That there's also, if somebody's, for example, feel a call, like this inner urge, that about the retreat, and you feel, but then you start thinking like, oh, but I really don't need. Do I really need it? Or like, oh, maybe financially it's not really like good for me, or whatever reasons. Then because mind will always comes with reasons, with stories, but if you feel a call in your heart and you follow the call, then the life will always make things happen for you and will show you a way, a path that you don't know how it will happen, but it will. The same as this, when you really align with your soul, you know there's always going to be a test. Like for example, I had also yesterday a session with one of my clients, and during the session we connected her with her, let's say, divine power, and she saw herself. First, she felt such a feeling of peace, harmony, and alignment that she never felt in her life before. And the second she saw herself, that she said, it's going to be some tests in my life when I will need to choose this divine power. I will need to choose the soul no matter what. And you know, like always, like we see in the fairy tales, the hero journey, there's always a test. But when we believe and we trust, when we have faith and when we choose the soul, no matter what, then the life is open for us. The path is what I call the quantum leap. The life open for us a pathway that you would never be able to think and to imagine this in your mind, because it's beyond your beliefs, it's beyond your imaginations, it's beyond what you can logically like create it for you. It's going beyond this. But for this, you have first to choose like your soul. You have to make this jump first, and then the path will open. Not that you say, oh, first I need to see, then I do. No, first you do, you jump, then the path is opens for you. Opens for you. Yes.
yes, my one of
So
my
what's going to be on the retreat? Just the last sentence I would say. So what's going to be on the retreat? Of course, it has like structure. In fact, we share this on brochure if somebody wants to receive. It has structure day by day, how we're going to guide and what we're going to do and how we will transmit the knowledge and how we'll help you during this container to create and to align with your best life, with the best timeline. But also, it's going to be a mystical experience at the same time where we co-create with life, with especially with the beautiful space of Nepal, and it's going to be as well as a mystical experience for you and for us as well.
yes, and yeah, I feel, yeah, we will do. This is the first of a series of live streams where we will we will share more specifically about um, the different elements, and also the different elements of the retreat. And next, the next live stream will be even specifically more about the focus itself on the retreat. As this time around, we've given more of a introduction to ourselves, and like a very kind of almost like spontaneous transmission, even though we prepared. Uh, as my partner also reminded me that sometimes these, yeah, the spontaneity always comes through when we're giving a teaching transmission. Um, so yeah, so yeah, we'd love to have you guys with us in the retreat for the following reasons that Katya outlined. But we will share more about that in the next episode, which will be sometime next week. Give you more details on that. And yeah, we're really excited about it. Yeah, what just to also complement what Katya was saying, um, just to give some notes, is that today we gave a rough outline of who we are and why we feel what is our passion, what is our interest right now. Our interest is toward this is toward connecting people very humbly and very openly to themselves. What is the self? That also we will get more knowledge and connection to. And then also towards, yes, um, preparing people for the possibility of experiencing something as profound as Nepal and the sacredness of the teachings there. Because we, Katya and I, we've spent many years as energetically in energetic awareness. So we're very aware of energy spaces and energy places. And we have found that Nepal has been one of the most profound places for energy on the earth, on the planet. And we will discuss this in more details in the next, when we look more at Nepal itself in the next live stream. But yeah, this place and combined with our sharings, it creates something that can be very supportive for you to, like we've been trying to explain in this live stream, how to connect to yourself, your soul, and to have more belief in yourself, have more faith in your path in life.
And
So
how to make it happen, not just believe, yes, but also, and let's say in a way, knowledge of how to really build it.
yeah, so it's really about actually the direct experience. We're no longer here to give you textbooks and like yoga TTC manuals, which you read once and then you throw it away, and it also wastes a whole bunch of paper. We are going to give you
You
wisdom.
don't throw, you keep all these things. I saw all your books.
Yes, some for teachers, it's reasonable to keep people's minds in structure, but we really want to give people a direct, and that means oral transmission of the teachings, and so that they stay with you for as long as you live and beyond life even. So
Okay, thank you so much. And yeah, I know there was a bit difficulties with all the technical things. I'll try to solve it for the next time. And yeah, just thank you so much for being a part of this and for creating it with me and for everybody who watch or who will watching now the recording. Yes, thank you.
yes, thank you everybody. Thank you to the people who came in on the live stream. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you guys, feedback, and if you're curious and have any questions for the next time, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to share more details about what we discussed today. And to note for yourself, next time we will talk more closely about actually Nepal itself and the beautiful retreat venue and so on.
Yeah. Yes, and if you need a brochure, also message us. We will send you because it's amazing and
If you're,
informative.
yes, if you're very anxiously want to know now and can't wait till the next time, please, yes, do not hesitate to send us a message. We already have created a 19-page brochure that's focused on all
19, really.
19 pages of detail on what is actually this retreat. So yeah, you can receive that brochure. Just let me know by any messages, or if you're one of Katya's, or yeah, contacts, then also you can reach out to her.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.